Right, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. 3, 2, 3, 6, 1. Okay. Hello, and welcome to the second of 3 episodes.
Second of 3.
Second of 3, this is how we're doing it, of We're Not Wizards. This is this episode is going to be titled The Ghost of Board Games Past. And Colin knows why, and I know why, and you need to kind of stay listening to know why as well. Just a reminder, reason we're doing this is obviously there's clearly not enough podcasts about board games.
Definitely not enough podcasts with 2 chaps.
2 guys in it as well. We are breaking out into this and doing something completely different. It is, however, a special weekend because it is my mother's birthday. My mother who can't play Love Letter that we spoke of so fondly last week. It's also Mother's Day tomorrow, and this is promised to be the mother of all shows. I'm setting the bar a bit high, aren't I, for the second episode? Tumbleweed time. Thanks for everybody who has been tweeting at us at We're Not Wizards, and anybody that emailed us as well, Magic at We're Not Wizards. Thank you very much for your offering of SEO. We'll get back to you at our nearest convenience. It's amazing how quickly the spam people catch on. That's magic at wearenotwizards.com if you care to email us. Be nice. But we've had quite a few messages. We've had quite a few downloads as well.
Yes.
I mean, we were joking last week we'll get at least 2 people possibly listening to this, but it turns out there's 160 of you.
Yeah, it's good. I find that if I just keep on clicking it, the number goes up.
I did that too.
It's great.
There's possibly about 5 people, but with regards to that, kind of a shout out to Paddy and Nick and Graham, and also a guy called Jeffrey who got in contact with us as well, who had some nice things to say, and he also said something about the volume. So that's why it's closer. We're sitting close to the mic as possible. What are you slapping your head for?
It's alright.
No.
It was being helpful.
It was being helpful.
Ridiculing him.
I'm not ridiculing him.
Yeah,
Thank you very
shocking.
much. No. And also a special thanks to the one and only wonderful Mr. Leo.
Mr. Leo.
Mr. Leo. What did Mr. Leo do? Tell me.
Leo has made us the wonderful little new icon that we have for our site.
Yes. And you're going to see that on iTunes. You're going to see that now on Stitcher, because we're on Stitcher.
We're on Stitcher as well.
We're on Stitcher. Do you know what Stitcher is? Neither do I, but it's a good idea that we had to get on Stitcher for some reason. So you can now do that thing. We can now beg you and say, please.
So we can stitch together a tweet?
No. This is another way to listen to podcasts.
Is it?
Yes, it is. So if you go to stitcher.com / I'll put it in the show notes. I don't know what it is. It's not something easy. It's not just stitcher.com. We're Not Wizards. But you can get the information if you go to we'renotwizards.com. It'll be under the normal stuff. But anyway, I'm procrastinating. Thank you very much to Leo for the logo design, because it is now everywhere. And remember and rate and review us on iTunes if you like to. Anyway, a couple of shout outs as normal. If you like listening to us would like to listen to something similar, maybe some of these people will take your fancy. If you're into movies, consider jumping over to Massmoviecide UK. If you like your video games and you like them fresh and fruity, then you should consider going over to Godisageek. Listen to their podcast, have a look at their website. There's pretty good. If you like 2 guys who are more entertaining than us, stop the whistling. Paddy and CJ, brilliant couple of guys. Twin Humanities, check them out. Fantastic podcast. Also, new guys on the block. Well, they're not as new as us. Dark Insight. Death Note with a 4, but if you search for Dark Insight Podcast, they do a lot of video game chat as well. But it's a good little podcast to listen to. And last but no means least is, I didn't mention them last week, but they're a firm favourite with me, DadBrosshow. If you haven't checked them out, they are brothers. Their strapline is "They are brothers, they are dads." So this is the DadBrosshow. So again,
right. So it's not he's his brother and his
proper,
dad.
No,
it's not.
They're not
right,
proper
okay.
Americans.
Right, they're not. Yeah. Right. Phew.
Quick, a quick correction last week. I did mention the Dead of Winter expansion was called The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
which is obviously...
You failed us. That would be a movie franchise.
Yes, I know, it's Christopher Nolan's lovely dark... Have some water.
Yeah, I should do.
You should have some water.
Okay.
As you can see from the camera, Colin's drinking out of a chalice.
Yes. Golden chalice.
A golden chalice. I'm not. I'm drinking out of a... What am I drinking out of? Does it matter?
It's called a cup.
Yes,
Richard.
thank you. As we said last week, Dead of Winter expansion is actually called The Long Dark. Have a Google for a look at that. It looks quite interesting, quite exciting.
Is it out yet?
I don't think so. I think it's been kind of previewed a couple of places, and we did mention it on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Well, I mentioned it on Twitter because
I'm a rabid fan of Twitter. I'm on it all the time.
You're nowhere near it. You're absolutely nowhere near it. It's absolutely fantastic. So, a couple of things to catch up on tonight. We promised that we won't dash about because the show
I think
notes,
we went through far too many games in the one episode.
The show notes kind of ended up about 4.5 pages long with all the games that we mentioned, and then
we only have 3 podcasts.
Yes, we do, and time is precious to us. So it's and that's. Is it a lie about the 3 podcasts? No, we have. We only got 3 podcasts, so please listen to them and tell all your friends.
Yeah. Before we're gone.
I want you to close your eyes, Colin. As you can see, he is. I want you to imagine... I want you to imagine a distillery.
Yeah.
Covered in bees and ducks. And I want you to now think about what kind of person this reminds you of. No?
I think the nun.
Possibly, yes. Yeah. And that'll possibly not make sense to anybody unless you were playing the game that we were playing, which is Mysterium. Colin, tell me about Mysterium.
I really liked Mysterium. It's a deduction game where one person is playing the role of the ghost who has been murdered, and the other players are playing mystics who are trying to take hints from the ghost and work out who the murderer was from a selection of different choices. And this is done through the person playing the ghost giving each of the mystics a card or 2 cards, depending on what level of the game you're playing. And those cards will be a picture card, which will equate to that you've got to use to try and work out who the murderer was, what the location of where it happened, and what the weapon was.
It's like Cluedo.
It's like Cluedo.
It's not like Cluedo at all.
It's not like Cluedo at all.
Not like
Cluedo. Very like a game called Dixit.
Yes, which, do you like Dixit?
I love Dixit.
Do you?
I don't think Richard does.
I've looked at Dixit and I've heard a lot of good things about Dixit.
It's a great game. It's very like.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great game. I have taken that game to so many different social settings, laid it down on the table.
And what about Dixit?
Yep. Explained the rules badly, and everyone still had a great laugh.
So it's worthwhile picking up. I kind of liked Mysterium. I love the artwork. See, as far as the presentation goes, and the game looked, and the way it carried out, and the way it went through the rounds, it was kind of okay. I loved it presentation wise. I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I'm quite an artistic type person myself. So I think I ended up persuading myself on several choices that those were exactly the right choices, and
that is the core of the game.
I know, but I totally I mean, the card was like it was like the card. It was like what was it? The first round, and I was convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that the murder weapon was a typewriter because the card, and this is where it gets clever. The card itself had a picture of a tower.
Got to explain these cards a bit more because
Yeah.
I don't think people get the idea. These cards are highly detailed little flights of fancy on each of.
They're
each
meant
of
to
the
be
cards.
dreams, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's a snapshot
it's a
of
dream,
a dream
that's coming through to you all night long. So it will literally be a card of a forest, and in the forest there'll be a light bulb, and there'll be a caterpillar, and there'll be other little details.
Dog.
But the colour of the card might be mainly green, and that might be what the person who's playing the ghost is trying to get you to go for, the fact that the card's green.
Yeah.
And one of the murder weapons might be, say, like the poison, which is in a green bottle. And so that might be what they might be trying to tell you. But then you might look at it and go, well, it's set in a forest, and one of the murder weapons is a pair of secateurs. So I'll go for the secateurs because it's a forest. It's so open like that, and it really relies on you knowing the person that's playing the ghost on what they would use to get you to go and pick a thing. It's really quite entertaining.
And it just goes to show how little I know everyone else.
Yeah.
And you know, the social pariah that I am, because I managed to talk my way through every stage of the cards. I was convinced it was, and I went, okay, my card, the last card, because you go through the game in stages, and the first person you guess is who your suspect is, and then the second thing is the location, and then the third thing is the murder weapon, and then it's all revealed at the end. So without going through it all, as an example, the last card that I got, the last clue I got was the typewriter. And when we were going back through the kind of the clue cards, the card there was a picture of a tower, a knight, and like Rapunzel. So I thought, well, you know, this has to be the murder weapon because that is a classic fairy tale, and a fairy tale would get written on a typewriter. And I think I kind of managed such a good job that I persuaded somebody else.
You persuaded 3 other people in the game.
I did.
Yep.
I was completely right because I gave such a... This is definitely this one because look, this is a picture of it. Oh no, it was the big boiled... It was the thing that looked like a fried egg, and I went, no, this is travel. This guy's travelling. Look, this is definitely this guy. And then Leo, who was the...
Ghost.
He was the ghost. And he turned around and says, no, the knight is swinging his sword at the grass. Therefore, the murder weapon's the secateurs. And I was just like, what the fuck?
Obviously.
I hate this.
Obviously.
I hate this. I don't like it.
Because you use secateurs to cut grass.
You don't know. That's the saying. I'm not going to argue this again because I was obviously wrong at the time. So I'm going to accept how wrong I was at the time. But it's...
Well, to give you another instance, when you get to the end of the game, everyone puts down their clues and their murderer, their location, their weapon, and they're all put into lines with your colour beside them, and then we get another 3 cards from the ghost.
Yeah.
And that is to tell us which one of these is the actual murderer. And when it came down to it, and we revealed the cards over, I was looking at mine, and mine was it was like like how would you call it? An ocean-going submariner, you know, with the diving.
The deep
bell
diving
on,
guy, yeah,
and
with a
big,
belt, with a kind of big
Yep.
round. He's in a big
Yeah.
round helmet.
and a sort of airlocked container, and two Anubis
Two
statues.
Anubis. Oh, that was what.
Statues behind him.
Oh, yeah.
And I was looking at this and going, right, oh, okay. And then the next one that came down was it was two air balloons with two Victorian gentlemen in the balloons dueling with pistols at each other. And I was looking at it, right, that's a box and that's a box. And my murder weapon was a box. So I went, right, it's obviously me. It's obviously me.
Has to be.
Couldn't be anyone else.
Yes.
And of course I was wrong.
Yes, of course. But you did win the first game that we played. Because
No,
we played.
the second game.
You won the second
Yeah.
game
I
as
lost
well.
The first game. It's
Oh, you
rubbish
lost
game.
the first game.
Rubbish game.
So you don't like it then?
No.
As again, following Colin's rules of any game, when he plays it for the first time, if he wins, he likes it.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
If he loses, he doesn't like it at all.
No.
It's quite new, isn't it? It's 2014.
No, it's a really old game.
Is it?
Yes, yeah.
So why did I see it's not been republished quite recently?
It has been republished.
That'll
quite
be
recently.
why. Because it's the Libelud.
I think it's 2010, 2008ish.
There's ones which are Asmodee's connected to it. Libelud's collect. Libel is Libellud. You can see them on Twitter, and Asmodee, as you know, they make everything.
Do they?
I think so. They make a lot of stuff now.
Do they make coffee filters?
They make yes.
Ah, good.
And they also make the trays that go at the bottom of fridges that you pull out, that you put vegetables and salad in.
Oh.
I've also heard that they also make the replacement plastic bits for garden trimmers as well.
Okay.
So you can buy that from them.
Right.
And you get a nice little board game.
That's a bit insane.
Talking crap.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good fun. I think it's one of these things you kind of need. I would think you would kind of semi need to know the person you're playing with.
Yes and no. Because it's random draw what cards the ghost gets.
Yes.
They can be hung, drawn and quartered because they might get things where they can't literally give you any clue.
Because we changed round who the ghost was.
Yeah.
And who won the second one?
I won the second.
You won the second one, didn't you? You just said you won the
I
second
just said
one.
that, yeah.
You did say that. Oh my goodness! But Stuart was the ghost.
Yeah.
Who's here tonight? Hi, Stu.
He's not here tonight.
He's not here tonight. We're just joking. He'll be here some night. But if you're listening, Stu, thanks. Hello. Yeah, but yeah, I get them. If you know, I think if you knew somebody really well, and if you clicked with, if you click with them, but if you know them well, I think you might understand.
You would
where
get
they're
it if
trying
they
to
go
for
for a
it.
crazy reference, then you would get it. But
Yeah.
if you're just playing with a bunch of normal people, yeah,
Yeah.
normies.
Normie.
dear God.
No, we don't want normal people.
No.
We want people that say, okay, there's the crypt, so I'm giving you. There's a picture of a candle.
Yeah, because
And
you'll
that's-
get that.
Because that's obvious.
It's
But then if
obvious.
somebody gave you like your diving card,
Hmm.
which had the picture of the two Anubises or Anubi on it, Anubises?
I think it's a
Inubi?
new buy for no apparent reason.
Anubi? Anubises? I don't know. Anyway, the death dogs from Egypt mythology. Then you would probably go, oh, that could be the crypt as well. So it depends on maybe if somebody's wanting to be clever and wants you to succeed, or if they're just being clever anyway.
Yeah.
And are trying to be a bit kind of obscure. So we played that. I'd like to play it again.
Would you, Richard? Would you really? Because you looked as though you hated that game when we were playing
I don't know. I kind of.
You're saying all these nice things about it. This mask of lies in
There's
front
no
of
mask
me.
of lies going on. It was fun what I seen. I appreciated the art and the beauty of the game.
Yeah.
I kind of got, I guess, because I'm quite a visual type person, then I saw things in a certain way, And when they didn't pan out, my brain went, no, how dare you? Stop it. This is wrong.
Why would it do this?
Bugger
That's
off.
Wrong.
Stop it now.
Yeah.
That's enough. And then so that kind of, no.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it ever again.
You're not playing it?
Probably never.
Okay.
I will. I'll play it a couple more times.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play it a couple more times. No.
It would make a very good drinking game, I think.
I think it would make a good game for people that haven't played board games.
Yep.
Because it is quite visual and you can have somebody guiding you through without an awful lot of the rules.
Yep.
Well, no, they would need to, obviously somebody would need to know the rules.
Oh, obviously.
But I think
you're
it
in
would
the
be
whole
quite...
land of love letter again. Is this Snap?
It could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then people would go, oh, it's just like Cluedo then. Because that's the first thing I thought. Because they went, oh, look, it's Colonel Mustard.
Yeah.
Colonel Mustard in the unusually painted distillery with the book, the vase?
The vase.
The vase was
Never
a good one.
trust the
And then they
vase.
have a clock at the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy that's playing the ghost has like a hidden bit. They can hide
They
the
have
screen,
this huge screen to hide behind.
which is beautifully well done.
And it's got pockets in it so that they can assign everything to each person, so they can look at that and get an idea of what we're looking at without having to look at the same cards that we're looking, because that would give the game away if you were staring intently at the bishop or something like that.
Is it Thursday already?
Yes.
I'm staring intently at the bishop.
At the bishop.
And hello. No, I think worthwhile picking up.
I
seen
think
it.
so, yeah.
Yeah, 35, 40 quid.
35, 40 quid, yeah.
Do you recommend it?
It's only 40 minutes a game. So
Well, it's worthwhile. We got.
I recommend it, but then I like that style of game. I like guessing and bluffing games.
I need to play it a couple of times before I would get really, really kind of into it.
Yeah, I think you need about 3 or 4 whiskies before you play it.
Yeah, probably more. Half a bottle.
Half bottle.
So I could see properly.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Get the
So that's
away.
So that's Mysterium.
Yeah.
Try it. If you're flush, buy it, because it's a beautiful game just to have. It's very lovely to look at. One of the other things I've been playing recently, so let's jump on. And I'm only mentioning this because it is, as well as it being my mum's birthday, it's also the weekend that it's Pokemon's birthday as well.
Ooh,
Yes,
Pokemon's birthday.
Pokemon is 20.
Don't do that.
No, Pokemon is 20 years.
Right, okay.
20 years old.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh God.
And the card game's been going for 20 years, so we've been. I've been playing it. I had a quick game.
Yep.
And I really liked it.
Did you?
Yes, I was.
How does it play? My only reference for that sort of card game is Magic.
Magic.
Is it like Magic?
It's very simple. It's simple, but you can see it's got a couple of levels. You can see where you can go in and you can just start playing.
Yeah.
And you can also see where you could go in and you could be playing it for years and know exactly what every single card does.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're building a deck, it doesn't matter kind of where it goes. You're going to absolutely throttle the opponent. So I played with my son. He demolished me within a couple of games, but he's very, very much into the Yu-Gi-Oh type stuff.
Oh yeah.
So he's played that, or he's starting to play that. But
so is it like Yu-Gi-Oh with its silly numbers?
No, it's more like a case of
attack you with 10,000 points.
No.
Why not just attack me with 10? Because it's easier to work out in my head.
I know, it's just, But no, I mean, it's quite simple. You just say, well, here's your hand. You get some basic Pokemon in your hand. You put down your basic Pokemon.
Yep.
And then you decide
Mudkips? Mudkips?
There was unusual ones. It was the ones from the latest expansion or something. So there wasn't a Pikachu to be seen.
Surely you love Mudkips.
They're okay. They're fine. It's not kind of some kind of secret language. But you play your basic card, and then you've got the chance, if you get you can evolve them quite quickly. So if you're playing, say, a basic card and you've got a card in your hand, you can go ahead and you can evolve that Pokemon up to the next level straight away.
Yeah.
And then you can go ahead and you can field them. But you can evolve them at any time.
Meowth in there?
No.
Oh, thank God for that, because he'd win.
He would win ridiculously
Simply.
well, but not against, because they've brought in kind of, with the expansions, they've got Pokemon EX Pokemon, and they've got Mega EX Pokemon, and they've got Super Califragilisticexpialidocious Pokemon, because there's just so many different levels. Then they've got the Breakpoint Pokemon. It's good fun. It's quite simple. You just assign
Sounding more like Digimon than Pokemon to me. Who were digital monsters.
And they were better.
They were a lot better.
We liked them.
That was a good cartoon.
That was a good cartoon when I was growing up. I did like Digimon. I don't remember the theme tune. Do you remember the theme tune?
I do, but I'm not singing it.
So anyway, you assign your energy. Once you've assigned a Pokemon enough energy, it can use a move and attack, and then everybody gets hit points. They get the hit points reduced. The guys get made to be dizzy, and then they get knocked out. You get a nice prize card if you knock out an opponent's Pokemon. You get 6 of them.
Oh, is that what it's called, when these poor creatures are brutalized and murdered for your amusement?
Well, they're not murdered.
Oh yeah. Oh no, yeah.
Knocked out. Yeah.
It's just been hit by a flame from a dragon, for the love of God.
Charizard. It's not a dragon, it's a Charizard, it's all fine. So I've been playing that. So it's been quite good. One of the things, moving on, if you've not played Pokemon, because I've never seen it in the club, I've never seen people play it.
No,
I think it's kind of like
at Kinder, so
yeah. But then I've seen guys that are playing it that are the guys that are all over it are kind of oh, it's the best thing ever, and I can see why people could get into it. I guess the same way that people kind of really get into Magic.
It's like My Little Pony, isn't it? People get into it.
Trying to be a brony with your luxurious hair. God, I wish I had luxurious hair. Oh, goodness me.
Give me back my hair, God.
Come on. Why did you decide to take my hair and have it grow out of my nostrils and out of my ears? Did you fear they were getting cold? Did you not think I was going to wear a hat and a scarf? Seriously, it's like nests of snakes coming out my ears somewhere. But anyway, moving on. I guess one of the things about being a board gamer, or as you become a board gamer, is that collecting games, and you can end up becoming more of a collector rather than an actual player. And I know that I'm kind of guilty of that. I've got a couple of games that I'd like to play, and I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mention a couple of games I'd like to play, and then I'm gonna see if I can get them played before we do the next podcast. Which could be 2 or 3 weeks away.
Oh, hang on. I'm getting another tweet.
Oh, wait, okay.
No.
That's the same one that you sent last week. Is that the one that we got last week?
Oh my God. No, man. You've been shot down. We're not playing these games.
Why not? I've not even told you what the games are, for goodness sake. Right. It's kind of, what you would call it, getting them off the shelf.
Getting them off the shelf.
These are games I would like to get off the shelf and have a quick game, because they've possibly been sitting there maybe for a week, maybe for longer, and I've just not had a chance. If you've played these games, if I mention them, tweet us, tell us what you think, at we'renotwizards.com. The first one,
before we waste our time,
is it any good, or is it broken, or is it the first one? Forge Wars.
Never heard of it.
It's right in front of you. The box is right. I brought it as a talking point, so we could remember, so we could have a look. I must have brought this along to the club about how many times? 3?
at
4?
least maybe 5, 6
6 times. And have we ever opened it up?
And then we go, no, we're not playing one of your games. Your games are boring. Right?
Thank you for that. They're not just because they're not Mysterium and pictures of stuff.
Yeah, which is cool and exciting.
I'm not playing that again. I've just already said.
Mm-hmm.
Forge Wars.
Forge Wars, okay.
Forge Wars is kind of like... It reminded me of a game called Craftsman that we kind of played.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me more of Seven Wonders.
Okay, so it's got a little bit of
It's got a
tableau
little
making.
bit of kind of resource building. And the story behind it, you've probably not heard it. It's by, and I'm going to completely mispronounce both of this. It's Cephalofair Games, and it was a Kickstarter. It's the danger of Kickstarter. And it's done by a gentleman named Isaac Childress.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of the game is you've got three different sections. You've got your mining phase, which you get your resources. You've then got using your resource phase to get your weapons. And then finally, when you get your weapons, you go on little quests.
Oh, okay.
Interested?
Yeah, it could be alright.
It could be.
All
It's
these
quite a
things
nice
can be
looking
alright.
game. It's a nice looking game. I think one of the things that kind of put me off is it says 60 minutes to 180 minutes.
Yeah.
That's 3 hours. And the
Or
first
60 minutes.
or 60 minutes, but
Which
then
is only 1 hour, Rich.
yeah, I know, but I know what 60 minutes is.
Do you?
No.
Ah,
Ah,
well.
right. Anyway, so 60 minutes to 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Could be complicated rules.
Yeah.
Could take an awful long time to play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to aim to play it.
Yeah.
By the time we do the next podcast, I'm going to go through some games.
Well,
I'm going to go through some rules.
what glorious change would be
Mm-hmm.
if someone else apart from me reads the rules for these games, and then when you bring them in, we can just lay it down on the table and
We've
get
done
going.
this before, haven't we?
We have done this before.
And yeah, and we've got kind of like rule people who like the rules and want to stick with the rules, and then generally don't believe you've read the rules, or
Yep.
take the rule books over and go, I'm going to read this anyway. Again.
And misinterpret it horrendously.
Yes. Was that Rex? Was that
We
something
had a
that-
bit of that with
had
a
a bit
game
of that
called
with-
Rex,
we had a bit
but
of
we're
that.
segueing into other games.
Yes,
we're
which we
talking about
talk about
Forge
things.
War.
I know, Forge War. It looks really, really decent. The components are really, really nice. So this is my promise to everybody listening. By the time we play the next, or time we record the next podcast, we will have had a game.
In 4 to 6 months.
And we will come have a game and we'll do a review on it.
Yep.
And that's my commitment to all 160 of you.
Well,
review.
which we already discussed was me just clicking.
Yes, exactly.
over
But
and
let's
over.
okay. So we'll move that onwards. Forge War. So that's the first game I'd like to kind of play. If you've played it, tell us what it's about. Not tell us what it's about. Tell us what you thought of it.
Yeah, tell us it's any
If it's
good.
any good, because it'd be worthwhile. I'd be really, really interested in finding out if we can take it any forward. The next game is by one of my favourite board game companies, who did Dead of Winter, which we spoke at a little bit last week.
Yep.
And we've corrected this week. It's called Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born. Now, I've already taken steps to do some watch it played videos.
Oh, some Let's Plays.
I have, yes, I have done this. I've watched What's His Face, the happy, delighted guy that...
As long as it isn't that guy with a fake wife. Oh my god.
What was that? Was that when we were learning a different game?
We were learning a game. I put on YouTube, right, this guy's going to teach us how to play the game. And he spends the entire, just like talking about a tiny little mechanic in the game, which you get within 3 seconds of him. Right, this is the rule.
It says
You
3...
put this token from here to here. And he spends about 25 minutes explaining that, whilst making up this wife that he quite clearly doesn't have. It goes into so much detail about and then she did this and that. Oh my God, I hated that.
And then they come out and say like, women, eh? Eh? And then winked at the camera and then forgot who his audience potentially could be. Probably guys.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's board games, man.
We expected. Yeah, so no, I've watched the What's It Plays with Rodney.
With Rodney, okay.
I think his name's Rodney. He does Watch It Played. He's like,
I've probably watched him.
Anyway, Rise of the Phoenix Spawn is the latest. Well, it's an LCG from.
That's a living card game, which
Played
means
Hat Games.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Means you only have the cards that come with the set, and if they make expansions, there's only ever those cards in those expansions.
Yes.
It's not like something like Magic, which is
Blind?
a collectible card game.
All right.
Where they're continually making new decks of cards and new sets of cards, but when you buy the cards, you only get so many cards. You don't get the full collection. Just to make you go out and buy more and more packs so that you can get all the cards you want or all the cards you need if you're building something.
And that's killed games for us in the past, hasn't it?
Well, it's why I don't play Magic.
Yes. And it's also, we played the Marvel Dice Masters for a while, didn't we?
I liked it.
I liked it as well.
But only me and you would play it, so...
And we enjoyed our time, but then what I discovered was that, as with all these things, you're going out and spending a fortune on the cards.
Well, you could do.
Or...
didn't have to.
If you wanted everything, I suppose, which I generally kind of like to have.
The Marvel game wasn't too bad. You didn't have to go crazy. It's not like Magic where there's thousands upon thousands of different cards, different variants.
Yeah, I suppose.
With the Marvel Dice Masters, there was only a couple hundred different.
And then they brought out Uncanny X-Men.
Uncanny X-Men, DC Universe.
Has that come out? What else?
D&D version of it.
I played the D&D version.
Yeah.
I played it with Andy.
Yeah,
It
Andy bought quite a lot of it.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was Marvel Dice Masters, but it was just a different.
It's all Dice Masters. It's
Yeah.
just a different skin thrown on it, a different flavour, and a few different change in rules.
Yeah. See, I like to. If I'm buying something, I like to know what I'm getting. So that's why Netrunners kind of appealed to me, because it was never like a blind buy.
Yeah.
You always kind of knew exactly what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that's attracted me about Ashes is it seems to be along the same lines. I've already seen there's 2 expansions out, but you get exactly what you pay for. You're paying for 30 cards, you get 30 cards, you get everything kind of like that you need.
So in Ashes, what type of card game is it? Is it a card game where you're trying to build a deck, so you're drawing only good cards each turn? Or is it a type of game where you're trying to put out cards in front of you so that they're constantly giving you good stuff?
You build your deck from the beginning, and the idea is that you're going up against your opponent, and your opponent is allowed to have, from what I can see, is allowed to have a row of cards to do with defensive and attacking magic, and then a row of cards to do with actual his or her kind of minions to help them. Yeah. So the idea is what you do is you get it works in combination with dice, from what I can see. Yeah. And you have a pool of dice. What?
Yay, dice.
What?
We must make it random.
Oh, so come on. No, they do the dice quite well. They kind of do the dice quite well, because you've got, what they do is you've got the dice have got 3 different symbols on them, right? But the rarest symbol can be used as the power for anyone else. Right. Yeah. The second symbol can be used for the power for the second level dice and also the lower dice as well. So if you roll the top tier, then you can use that as power to go towards anything else. So if you need certain symbols to power up a character, you can use them. but you also, if you obviously roll that, because I think it's only one in a face, then you also get granted some kind of special action as well.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. But the idea is, and it's also what is quite interesting is I've seen some people play Magic, and you see they've got a row of kind of like forests.
Yep.
Yeah. And what you can do in this game is doubles don't matter. What doubles do is if you play one card and you play exactly the same card, then it focuses the previous card. So it's almost like you're doubling up the power.
Yeah.
And it encourages you to gather kind of sets of similar cards together, or exactly the same cards, because that then unlocks the focus power and it allows you to do kind of certain attacks.
Right.
Also, when you use a card, you get a little exhaust token on it as well.
Yeah.
So you're only allowed, but there's obviously different things. It looks quite interesting. It looks quite easy.
So there's a few mechanics.
In there. Obviously, you've got the wonderful chance of dice.
Yeah. Well, that's a wee bit. If you roll badly, then are you completely destroyed in the game, or?
No, I think because of the way it works is that you're always able to do something. You'll be able to do some kind of move in there. You get kind of main movement anyway, and you also get side. So every card's got, this is my main movement, this is my secondary movement. So you kind of get that. It looks kind of interesting. I've not played it, I'll admit that, but again, this is a game that I'm going to have a shot of and come back.
Well, we're going to play it.
We're going to play it, because did you play it before?
Nope.
Alright. I'm pretty sure somebody else last night said they'd played it already.
Yeah, a few of the guys had seen someone else play. I think one of them might own it.
Yeah. Which is interesting. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I'm certainly up for playing it, so that'll be...
But the guy that owns it is very particular over his thing, so he's not going to bring it to the club till it's sleeved.
Sleeves.
Gotta love sleeves.
Do you love sleeves?
Yeah, because...
I've got a pile of them.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got them. I might sleeve this or I might not. I sleeved my Marvel Dice Masters.
Yeah.
Which was a good idea, but they now set up there, perfectly pristine and sleeved.
Well,
doing
20 years
doing
from
nothing.
now.
20 years from now.
40, 50 years from now, when your kinder or
Don't, 20, 25, 60. They'll look on it and they'll go, oh my goodness.
They'll go, wow, what is this?
What the hell was Dad playing at when he was buying comic book
Throw
characters?
Throw it in the bucket, and then they'll watch something on Antiques Roadshow where a Navar set goes for 500.
It'll be that whole thing when I realised that I gave away an entire set of boxed Super Nintendo games to my cousin.
Oh.
And then years later, when I realised the ridiculous price pristine boxed Super Nintendo games were going for, and I asked my cousin,
what did you do with them?
What did you do with them?
Smack.
He sold them. He traded them in at Game.
Wow.
For some PlayStation 4 rubbish. No, PlayStation 1 rubbish.
That'd be Call of Duty that he
No,
traded it in
I
for?
don't know. I don't even know if he did it. He might have just... But anyway, that is my... I have few regrets in the world, but one of them is being generous. Anyway, yes. So, Forge Wars and Ashes Rise of the Phoenix Born. We could play that. Ashes.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might enjoy it.
I might enjoy it.
You might not. Depends if you win.
It would depend if I win.
Okay. Right. I've been investigating. I've been doing a little bit more Kickstarter.
Have you? I'm deliberately not looking at Kickstarter because I need to recoup funds.
Really?
Yeah.
What have you done?
Oh, I've overspent, as I was there. So.
See, I kind of haven't. I saw... We touched on this briefly. Well, we didn't. I had a rant last week about not getting completed, not being entirely satisfied with Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, what? And it's continued. You know, you get emails from the same place and they're continually apologising about the obvious, you know, oh, Chinese New Year's coming, it means everybody's on holiday, which means the stuff that we promised you is now going to be May. And I can see folk in the comments just going, absolutely batshit.
So it'd be like my 3D printer.
Yes?
Yeah.
Are you waiting for it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the PT printer, which is a special type of 3D printer, which was meant to be under $100.
Yes.
So that's like, I thought I would give it a punt, and 2 years later, we're still waiting.
Yay! The joys. Remember that Kickstarter is not about...
It is not about having an end product. You're taking a risk when you buy something on Kickstarter.
But then I've seen it that this is what I was looking at, because something came up in my our Twitter feed, because it is ours, even though I use it. It is
ours. Yes.
I don't think you look at it, do you?
Yeah, I look at it all the time.
No, you don't. It's just such a kidder. And something came up, and it's a kind of it was one of these things that's kind of like a well-known. And you went in, oh right, it's already reached its stretch goal by 20 million flipping quid, and it's going to be doing well, and these are just kind of like pre-orders, which, you know, I don't want to talk about. What I do want to talk about is I saw a couple of games that I'm going to just put out there, and people can have a look. They're not expensive, they're purposefully not expensive. Okay. They're on Kickstarter, they're like 30 quid. They've both been funded, so you're going to get the game.
And do they have long time to run, or are they
the first? Well, they've got roughly about. Well, one of them's got just under 2 weeks left, and it's a game. It's a 3D board game, and it's called 3D Zombie Tower.
Oh.
It's by a company called Godisageek, and it was originally released in Japan. It's already out in Japan, but it's now been localized for. It's now been it's going to be localized because they're now developing it. So it's like $42.
So they're just going to translate it into.
They're going to translate it into English,
German,
and then they're going to and then they're going to ship it kind of Europe wide. So $42 works out about 30 quid.
Something like that.
It's not bad. Not bad. It's about £8. A dollar's worth about £10 worth about $8, or the other way around.
I would hope it's the other way around.
Yes, I made it absolute. This is why maths is not my strong point, but it's possibly worthwhile checking out. It's a 3D board game. It's about going in as a member of the emergency services and rescuing people from either from themselves or from being turned into zombies.
Kicking zombies.
I've not checked into the Long Dark yet. I would hope that they've maybe going to just go, did you hear that podcast? Stop production now. No. We need to put in kicking zombies. But there's no kicking zombies in this game. However, there is a massive kind of 3D structure which you make your way around, you rescue people, or you've got the chance to kind of like you've got a chance to not rescue them, so you can get away and you can escape.
Right.
So looks quite good fun. Looks worthwhile kind of checking out. As I say, it's already out in Japan, so they're just so. I think it's been funded. It's ready to go. It's going to be relatively inexpensive, but it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile having a look at the campaign, just because it's something a little bit different, which kind of caught my eye as well.
Yeah.
The second thing that we're looking at, and this is kind of smashed its target already, but its target was something stupid like about a couple of $1,000. But it's called Steam Court.
Steam Court. Okay.
It's by Tantrum House.
Okay.
It is Tantrum House. Don't shake your head at me. I'm just saying. It's kind of based around the steampunk theme, because you can't have anything without a steampunk theme.
Or zombies.
Yeah, so what I've done is I've copied probably the two biggest tropes that you get in board games. Steampunk zombies. Somebody makes steampunk zombies. Has somebody made steampunk zombies?
Yeah.
Who? Somebody.
War Machine's got steampunk zombies in it.
Really?
Yeah, sorry, man.
Already been done and covered?
Yeah.
Actually fantastic.
Like clockwork ones and...
Really?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, you put a big clock in them, don't you? It just works.
But
it's
does somebody
steampunk,
else
doesn't
put
it?
a clock on them?
Well, obviously the bad guy or...
Right. So the bad guy says you're a
zombie. The filthy wizard comes along and...
The filthy wizard.
throws a little clock in you and off
Boom.
you go.
There you go. Does he need winding up? Or do you not know? I've not played it. You're just aware of it. Okay, that's fine. Steam Court is basically one of these games where you get given a massive hand of cards, and the idea is to basically kind of somebody plays 3 3s, you've got to play 3 4s. Then you've got to play 3 5s. It's a very, very light kind of introductory deck game.
Right, yeah.
I was just looking for something that I could just get in and play for 10 minutes, because I'm sitting, as I said earlier on, kind of looking at my collection, and I've played the vast majority of games that I have, but there's some games I've sat there and went, this is going to take a while. This is going to take a long time.
Yep.
We need to get back to Catacombs.
Yep.
Definitely. And Steam Court is kind of very simple. It can have up to 10 players. And you basically, everybody gets a hand of cards. Everybody gets a character, and the characters have different skills, and they can influence which order they're actually playing.
Right.
And then obviously, if you're the benefit of being obviously first to play means you can get rid of your lower cards, or you cannot be stuck, and then you earn kind of victory points, and then the person with the most victory points kind of wins. I've watched the videos. They already seem to be smashing through the stretch goals. It's about $41. I think that might be including shipping as well.
$41 seems quite a lot for...
Well, they've got quite a lot of... There's the box seems to be quite a reasonable size. The cards are a very, very good size as well, and the character stuff is good, and the artwork's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's worthwhile having a look. Again, it's like $41 or about 29, 30 pounds. You know, so that'll be kind of worthwhile kind of going through. Yes, so that'll be Kickstarter. I did look at other ones, and I don't know. I've kind of stopped looking at the really big guys, because the one thing I've seen with all the big guys is they've then got the distribution in place.
Yeah,
to stick it to retail, you know.
Yeah, they're using Kickstarter as an advertisement platform. They're not using it as, we need this to make this product.
I know, and I mean, I don't mean to kind of like rain on their parade, because they've obviously, as soon as they release something every single time, they're then you know, if you chip in your £1 or whatever just to see how the campaign's going, within... Oh, they usually got the Facebook page.
Anyone that does that? I only know people that go for stretch goals. Never ever seen anyone that ever puts in a wee £1 because I want your project to be there. No.
I just want to check on it.
I want my free stuff.
I want my email updates, and I'm willing to help you. But you see them, it's like, and the Kickstarter launches in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Half an hour later, we're funded. Look at there's a surprise. Look at us, we're funded. But then obviously, and I've seen this with a couple of things now, is that the guys getting their stuff shipped out has appeared at the same time as the stuff has appeared with the retailers on the shelves. Yeah. And a lot of the bigger stuff, like say Ghostbusters, Thunderbirds and stuff like that, you can get that in retail easily enough anyway. Yeah. So you kind of wonder what you wanted the Kickstarter for. So these two guys, they're small, they're not big. They're worthwhile looking at. And just have a look. The 3D one looks like decent.
Yeah.
Might be decent fun, and if they get enough money together, they're using like standees and stuff like that, so they might be able to turn that into different figures. And let's face it, you and me have probably got a cupboard full of like zombies we could probably replace that for anyway, totally. So that's quite easy. Where are we? Is this a good time to maybe...
I think this might be a wrap-up time.
I think this could be a wrap-up time. Yes. Have you had fun?
I've been here.
You have? Have you? You haven't talked much.
No, not tonight.
I kind of, yeah. I need to stop that.
Dominate!
Yes, you need to start hitting me when I start doing that, because I do have a tendency to let my mouth go. Again, you can catch us on the usual channels. We appreciate everybody that has listened up to now. There might possibly be, I'm thinking of prizes, possibly.
Prizes?
Possibly.
Prizes, Prizes
for you and me.
Oh,
not
good.
For anyone else.
Thank God for that.
No, we're going to start, no. But what I would say is, if you can, follow us on Twitter at We're Not Wizards. iTunes, you can find us on We're Not Wizards. A nice little subscribe, a little review, rate us.
Yes,
that
please.
Always helps. That really, really helps. We've got the website, which is we'renotwizards.com and we'renotwizards.co.uk. You can email us, which is magic@we'renotwizards.com. So get in contact with us that way. But either way, any comments, any questions, if you have played Forge War and want to tell us it's brilliant.
Yeah, or indeed
Ashes as well. If you've played Ashes, we'd love to hear your views on it, and we'll email us and we can read out your responses and your comments. But until then, this is me, Richard, signing off, saying goodbye, and hopefully speak to you very soon. And say goodbye, Colin.
Goodbye, Colin.
Brilliant. Fantastic. And this is me saying goodbye. Remember, we are many things, but we're not wizards.
We're not wizards. Apart from when we play wizards, but that's beside the point.
That's Frostgrave. Stop. You are playing a wizard in that. You lied to me. Bye-bye.